It is the fastest growing international crime network that the world has ever seen. It has already passed the illegal arms trade, and soon it's gonna pass the drug trade. Because you can sell a bag of cocaine one time to a child 5 to 10 times a day. God's children are not for sale.
Sound of Freedom. This movie features Tim Ballard, a Homeland Security agent working pedophile and child trafficking cases. And one day, he winds up finding a kid being trafficked across the border. After saving the boy, he learns there is a sister as well. And after a heart-wrenching talk with the kid's dad, he finally says enough. He makes it his mission to save not only the sister, but several other kids and take down the people who are trafficking them, risking not just his life and his job, but his sanity as well. Bring your tissues to this movie because it is not a happy movie. It is a very gritty, realistic look at the absolute abomination that is people exploiting children in the worst possible way. This is not an action piece about a valiant hero taking down these terrible people. This is not a spy flick about infiltrating these groups. This is a slow burn horror flick. A movie where a group of guys finally says, screw governments, screw dying, screw consequences, because this is worth fighting for, no matter the cost. A horrifying look at what child trafficking is. And what really sells this point are the kid actors. Mainly the sister does a lot of the heavy lifting, but even the brother and a lot of the other kids do a great job. They tug at your heartstrings whenever they're on the screen. And just to give you an idea of how horrifying this movie is, I usually tend to have a chat with some of the people I go with about the movie and what we thought and everything. There is no discussion about this movie. We just walked out of the movie theater in silence. And it just goes to show you, because it's hard to explain how insanely potent this movie is in the message it tries to convey. And I'm not talking a message like in Strange World, where it was painfully obvious they were trying to cover the message with not exactly entertaining story. Because unlike Strange World, in this you have great characters. Tim Ballard, the sister, the brother, the father, all the other guys that join Tim Ballard to help all these kids and do everything they need to do. You root for each and every one of these people. And even though there are a few issues with the movie, that being it is a slow burn, more character-driven movie, it's not a bad thing. It's just these types of movies aren't for everybody. And then there are a couple of issues, mainly in the beginning. It's just a weird place to start when we finally meet Tim Ballard and see what he does for a living and how he gets to the point where he meets the brother. It all just seems unnatural. But once he finds the brother and once he does get the information about the sister and starts that crusade, this movie goes pretty dang hard. And of course, just like Strange World, this is a message-heavy movie, but thankfully they put the story first. After all, this is based off of the true story that actually happened. I cannot describe to you how insanely horrifying this movie is. No matter what you think, it's a lot worse when you see it on screen. But with all that said, you have to see this movie in theaters. You have to. Because this movie, it stays with you. And that's never a bad thing when it comes to a movie.